If you're trying to figure out the best way to play pickleball, what better than to watch the best in the world play the game and try and figure out what they do so that we can do the same. In this video, we're going to break down this rally at a recent match between 4 of the top senior pro players in the world and see what they do so that we can learn how to play better pickleball ourselves. We're going to look at 3 different things that these players do to get better at playing pickleball. Let's get into it. On the near side of the court left, we have David Weinbach, also known as the Badger, one of the best senior pro and also pro players in the world. His partner is Tao Thongvanh. To his right, across in the blue, we have Jose Derisi, and in the black, we have one of the originals of the game for a long time, Chris Mills Miller. Again, these are 4 of the top senior pro players. Sometimes when we're watching video, it's easy to watch it and say, well, they're not that good. I'll link to their names below. You can check them out and make decision for yourself as to how good these players actually are. What we're going to do is we're going to watch how they play this rally, how they construct the rally, and learn the best techniques directly from them. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to focus on 3 different aspects of the game as we break down this rally. First, we're going to look at stroke mechanics. We're going to look at how they hit the ball and look at their mechanics in hitting the ball and what they're doing. Second, we're going to look at what they do to minimize errors, to reduce errors in their game. The last thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at how they move during the rally, how they flow with the rally. So stay tuned for that because you're not going to want to miss how they move with the rally. Let's go over each one separately. Let's start with some stroke mechanics or how they hit the ball, how these 4 players hit the ball. We're looking for either simplicity, complexity, are they spinning the ball and things like that. And we're actually going to start with the serve. I want you to notice how David hits a very simple serve here. It's low, a little bit hard, but it's really simple. And look at Mills Miller here with his returner serve. Nice and simple, deep middle of the court. Just like we always say at VIPickleball, return it right into the middle of the court. Now watch David Weinbach's third shot here. As he prepares to hit the third shot, his paddle never goes behind the plane of his body. That paddle stays in front of the plane of his body so that he can then execute the third shot with a nice simple motion there. He uses his legs a lot on his third shots and his dinks, and that's his technique. Basically becomes his follow-through. Let's watch Tao's shot here, his 5th shot here. Same thing. Paddle out in front. Never breaks the plane of Tao's body. Really simple stroke over the net to allow himself to get up to the non-volley zone line. Now let's look at Tao as he gets ready to do a volley dink here. Same exact thing. He's reaching out in front of him. Notice that his paddle stays open because he has a paddle out in front of him with no backswing. Now we're going to watch him dink back and forth a little bit, and I want you to focus on how all 4 players are dinking here. They're very simple strokes, no real heavy spins here, just basically paddle out in front, lifting the ball over the net and putting it into the position that they want to hit it. Watch David Weinbach as he gets ready to hit this dink here. It looks identical to when he hit the third shot, paddle set up out in front without bringing it behind the plane of his body. What David understands is that the dink and the third shot are essentially the same shot. The only difference is how far the ball is being hit. What you'll notice here is that these 4 players, again, 4 of the best senior pros in the world, are keeping the shots very simple. I want you to look here at David as he's getting ready to put this ball away. It's a smash shot for him, but you'll notice he still does not take the paddle behind the plane of his body. He keeps that paddle even with the plane of his body and focuses on hitting the ball down at Jose's feet, finishing the rally. Let's switch now to how these pro players avoid errors in their game. If you know anything about pickleball, you know it's a game of error avoidance. Mills is actually going to show us both of the main things that we're looking for in order to avoid errors. His returner serve first clears the net by, looks like about 4 feet there, so plenty of clearance over the net. The second thing is it is nowhere near an out of bounds line. Very little chance of Mills' returner serve landing out of bounds based on that returner serve. Next, we're going to see Dave hit his third shot. His third shot height at its maximum is higher than any player on the court. Assuming the players are 6 foot, that third shot is about 8 foot or so above the court at its height. Again, very little chance of that shot hitting the net, and if it's going to hit the net, it's going to fall from an arc trajectory, not going to be line drived into the net. Tao's shot continues to show the respect that these players have for the net. Because he's closer to the net, he can hit the ball a little bit lower over the net. Doesn't have to have quite the height of Dave's prior shot with the third shot, but it still has a nice height over the net, respecting that net. Mill's shot likewise respects the net, giving himself enough height over the net. What these players recognize is that the net is not going to beat them. The net is 100-0 against all players. It is not going to beat these players, however. You'll see here that Tao shot towards the sideline. It's the closest shot to the sideline that we can see, and even this shot has a couple of feet of clearance next to the sideline. Most of these shots here are nowhere near the sideline. None of these players are tempting the sideline, potentially hitting out of bounds. Even David, when he gets ready to put this ball away, you'll see that as the ball clears the net, it has a nice clearance over the net. He is not tempting the net and trying to avoid unforced errors, particularly on a put away. Last but not least, let's see if we can figure out some movement tips from these players, how the players move. Critical part of the game, obviously, is how we move. The first thing I want to focus on here is the third shot. So as David starts getting ready to hit the third shot, Tao stops, looks back, makes sure everything's all right, so they can come up here together. Now here, Tao hangs back a little bit. He's going to hit this fifth, and then he's going to move up to the no volley zone line with David. Now they're up at the non-volley zone line together. What I want you to look at here is how David and Tao are prepared. Look at their body position. They have a nice coil position ready to go here. And now look at Jose and Mills on the other side, the way they're flowing back and forth with the rally. That's just really good stuff there, how they're moving. Tao's going to move this ball over to the right. He's basically redirecting the ball. He slides over to the right to cover that down the line shot. And then David gets the shot along the X. It's perfect movement there. So you see how these players are basically flowing with the rally. You see them moving back and forth, trying to basically make sure that they're covering their areas and covering their protections here. Tao is in a good position to handle the defense here. David comes across, hits the put away, and crosses over the center line. No problem. Never worry about crossing over the center line when you have a poach. Let's walk away from this with 3 takeaways for you. 1 is to use simple strokes. Number 2 is respect the net and the sidelines. Give yourself a nice margin. 3, be body ready and move with the rally. I also want to give you some next steps that you can take if you want to keep on improving. 1, check out this playlist for some more game breakdowns. 2, once you're ready, check us out at wearepickleball.com. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get notified of additional content. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Be well out there.